Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stevie Dainjara Tutolo from Gemini Multimedia Limited. Today, I want to respond to one question which was asked by one comment from my YouTube channel. Somebody was curious to know, how do we get paid to listen to audiobooks? Well, actually, it's not to listen to audiobooks. Listening to books doesn't give you money. I have never taught that. You don't get paid to listen. That is different. I was talking about how to be a voiceover narrator or an audiobook narrator. So when you are a narrator, you actually get paid to narrate books. Why? Because people understand the power of audiobooks. People understand that people are so lazy these days. They don't have a very focused attention in in reading a physical or a digital book these days. People are so busy. They have so many things to do, bills, work, 9 to 5. So what they do is they prefer listening to audiobooks, because you can listen to an audiobook when you're driving. You can listen to an audiobook when you are in a plane. You can listen to an audiobook when you are, when you are taking a shower. You can just play the audiobook. Whatever you're doing, even if you are at your gym, you can just put your headset and you listen to an audiobook. So an audiobook of, let's say, 400 pages, which would have taken you months, due to your multiple activities, you can just complete it, or you can listen to it within 4 hours in a single day, especially when those books are narrated by professionals like us, like me, like any other professional narrator. Now, the question the person asked was, there was a confusion. They thought you get paid just to listen to audiobooks. No, you get paid as an author or writer, as a publisher. So writer, author, publisher, I think it's the same. Or you get paid as a narrator. You don't get paid. You never get paid as a listener. You rather pay the platform as a listener because you pay to listen, and the money goes to the author, and part of the money goes to the narrator, who is also earning from the share of the revenues. That is the reason why there are multiple platforms where you can work as a narrator. I am not a writer or an author. I'm rather making money with my voice. So I am a narrator, and I get paid to narrate people's books. Now, there are two ways to get paid to narrate people's books. The first way is either to go to freelance platforms like Upwork, Freelancer, Fiverr, etc., where you can narrate books for people. People pay you to narrate their books. So, for example, here we have a writer who is obviously looking for a British female narrator for his audiobook. And when you go there, you'll be narrating and you earn something called PFH, which is per finished hour. So if, for example, the book is 2 hours, and if the client proposes to give you $80 per hour, so if the total narration, by removing the repetition, the mistakes, if it's a clean version and it's 2 hours, that would be $80 multiplied by 2. That's $160. So you will get $160 for reading a book of 2 hours. The book is actually 75,000 words. Technically, if it's a finished book, that will be about an hour 40 or 2 hours. Yes, that's what you can do. And then when you narrate a book, you just don't do it randomly. To narrate a book, you have to be qualified as a voiceover. You have to be a professional. You have to have a professional microphone like this one. It should be clean. You can't just narrate from your phone or from a random wireless mic. You need a professional microphone like this one. You need a studio. You need a headset. And of course, you also need what we call the interface to convert your voice into MP3 or WAV. In fact, when you are an audiobook narrator, you have to abide by the requirement of audiobook narration. Sorry. So the audiobook narration or the audiobook industry has requirements. So for example, when you go to any platform in the world, you get to know about the standards. So there is a standard to be an audiobook narrator. So if you don't meet standards, you'll never be able to narrate. So let me just show you a little bit of how the standards look like. So there's a requirement for the microphone, there's a requirement for the quality of the sound. So this is what you have here. You have to be consistent in the overall sound. You have to use either mono or stereo for all files. You have to maintain the same bit rate, include opening and closing credits. For example, The White Horse, written by Stevie Dyke Jalatutolo, narrated by Stevie Dyke Jalatutolo, published by audiobooks.com. So that's what we call the opening and closing. You need to also insert a sample track. You need to contain only one chapter or section per audio file. It shouldn't be more than 78 minutes each. So this is it here. This is the technical requirement. If it is MP3, there should be the constant bit rate, CBR. And then this is the kilohertz, 44.1. That's the quality ratio, and not larger than 170 megabytes. So these are the requirements if you want to be a professional narrator. Now, talking about platforms, there are so many platforms. Remember, my books, the books that I've narrated, not my books, because I'm a co-producer, books that I've narrated are visible on ACX, on audible.com, on audiobooks.com. Some of the platforms are strictly for North America and the UK. So if you are outside of the US, you cannot work and earn money from there. But you can create your account as a listener, as somebody who loves audiobooks, and you pay subscriptions to listen. You don't get paid to listen. You rather pay the platform because the platform survives through your memberships. However, how did I get some of the books with my name on those platforms? It is because we use what we call third-party platforms, like this very one that I told you on my previous video, which is called Tech Time. I've been on Tech Time since 2019. I've been with them for long. You can see my current sales right here if I click on sales. So here are my sales, and this is the number of books that I've narrated, not too much. And currently my billable amount is €1.25. However, if I go to wallet, you can see my previous transfer was about $40. That was in January, February, March, April. That was April 2025. So I get paid to narrate books. And there are many other platforms apart from ACX, apart from all those where you can narrate. There's, for example, in audio, there's Authors Republic. There is also Spotify for authors, because we are also authors. Books Partner Center by Google Play. Kobo Writing Live, this is for writers. And then we have Kobo Audiobooks. We also have Lantern, Streetly, Publish Drive. There's a lot. 11 Reader. I know about 20 of them. In fact, when you come to this platform, when you go to the main page, if you go to the main page, then you will see what we call the distribution channels. So these are the channels where our books or books that we narrate are sold, or they are visible, they are found over there. If you go to how does it work, let me get there for narrators. So if you go to how does it work, then you have the languages first, where you can narrate a lot of African languages, and then we have what they call distribution channels. So I can narrate for somebody, and it can be published on Amazon, Google Play, iTunes. So whatever the platform where people buy the books that I've narrated, I get paid for that. That's how it's very cool as a profession. Although I've not been narrating books, because I just don't like the revenue sharing system. I find it very, very slow. If you really want to blow up as a professional narrator, You really, really, really have to narrate so many books. However, I'm not ready for that. But what I discovered is I just chose to stay as a professional voiceover talent. So instead of narrating other people's books because you get paid a share, why not narrating my own books? However, I'm not a writer. But it is easy nowadays to create a book from you can create a book, for example, with ChatGPT and stuff like that. So this is what we can do. Sorry. So this is what it is. That would be a topic of a different discussion next time, where I will teach you how you can scale up your voice. So beyond narrating books, you also have documentaries. We have commercials. We have live casting. We have movies. There's so much in voiceovers. But in fact, you can also build your voiceover empire. So you can create your own books. You can create storybooks for children, put in your voices, sell them in your private digital shop, and make 100% profit from what you narrate. This is not about getting this card. Somebody gets a card, you get a card. This is your own money. The only fee or the only money that you spend is the fee for the transaction. So if you've made, for example, $1,000 this month from the books that you've narrated, maybe the platform takes a 5%, a 3%. That's normal because you are not the owner of the platform. So this is what I strongly recommend. So I've stopped narrating all the people's books, but I'm now narrating my own material. That's what I do. So I'm Stevie Daeng Jalatotolo. Stay tuned, and thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.